What if each African region had its capital country? Which country will be the capital for Southern Africa? Yeah, for Southern Africa, well, you can say it by the name already, South Africa. Why South Africa? Yeah, I think South Africa, looking at the development and then the economic structure and all of them generally, the environment, I think South Africa has it. And maybe Namibia. Maybe Namibia. Okay, good. What about East Africa? Well, for East Africa, we can look at countries like Kenya, Ethiopia, which are in the eastern part of Africa. So why Kenya and Ethiopia? Yeah, I think those countries are well grounded when it comes to tourism and the likes. Okay, what about West Africa? West Africa, of course, Nigeria now. Nigeria for life, Nigeria. Just because of that, of course, the giants of Africa, we've got the biggest structure when it comes to the economy. We've got the massive talents from music to entertainment to business, sports, politics, all of them. Whoa. Okay, now what about Northern Africa? Northern Africa, we can look at Egypt, we can look at Algeria and the likes. Why Egypt, Algeria? I think amongst all of them, Egypt and Algeria are definitely doing well, and I think it's well propounded that everybody knows about it. What if each African region had its own capital country? Which country will be the capital for Eastern Africa?
For Eastern Africa,
Tough one.
it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'll prefer Tanzania.
Tanzania. Why Tanzania?
Yeah, I don't know. Tanzania is just a lesser evil. Let me just put it that.
Lesser evil. Interesting.
Not a lesser evil though.
Why lesser evil?
That's my thought. That's my thought. I've not been there before. I've read about them. At least there are 1 or 2 articles I've done on them. But I think Tanzania is okay.
Okay, what about Southern Africa?
Southern Africa. South Africa.
Why South Africa?
Because they have this little vibes of the Western world. It's also changed their mentality. Apart from the further attack, it changed their mentality. If you go to Joburg, you really want to live there. It's basically it's cool. And the south.
Okay, what about Western Africa? West Africa.
I'll give it to my country though.
Which is
Giant of Africa. Nigeria. Irrespective.
okay.
Home is home.
Okay, home is home. What about North Africa?
North Africa. The North right now is 100% Morocco.
Morocco. Wow, why Morocco?
I prefer Morocco to Tunisia or Algeria
Than
Egypt, yeah.
Why Morocco?
Yeah. Morocco's culture is welcoming. You can easily settle down in Morocco. They're not too Islamic.
To the
core, yeah. They welcome everybody. But other Northern, you have to be
Careful.
If you're not with them, you have to be very careful. So
Okay now. So the last one. What about Central Africa?
So I'll go for Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial Guinea. Why Equatorial Guinea?
Yeah, they are more serious in terms of governance.
They're more serious.
Yeah, same governance and people oriented compared to Cameroon is not there. Cameroon is not on my list at all.
Okay. What if each region in Africa had a capital country? Which country would be the capital for Eastern Africa?
For Eastern Africa, Rwanda.
Rwanda. Why Rwanda?
They are the neatest country in the whole of Africa, I guess.
They're the neatest, so that should be the capital.
Yeah, cleanest. They have like good culture also.
Okay, what about Southern Africa?
South Africa, obviously.
South Africa. Why South Africa?
I don't know. They have their pride and the ocean well developed, and then their capital, GDP, the whole thing.
Okay, what about Western Africa? West Africa.
Obviously, Nigeria.
Obviously,
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Why Nigeria?
Giant of Africa, good GDP, great development. Or even slow, but then we're getting there. But then still, Nigeria for West Africa.
What about Northern Africa?
Egypt.
Why Egypt?
The oldest civilization. They have like the oldest civilization, and then probably one of the best countries. Easily matches every other country in the world.
Wow. Central Africa.
Congo.
Is it DRC Congo or Congo?
DRC Congo.
DRC Congo. Why DRC Congo?
They have great music.
Just because of great music?
I don't know. Yeah, they have great music.
What if each African region had its own capital country? Which country will be the capital for Eastern Africa?
Kenya.
Why Kenya?
Because they have good people over there and
Yeah, what?
their food is
Their food is Kenyans. Is it just because of the people and the food?
yeah, basically, and yeah, basically people and the food are really nice.
What about Southern Africa? Which country will be the capital?
South Africa,
Why South Africa?
they have good tourist centers. A good place to visit. I've not been there before, but based on my research,
What about Northern Africa?
Egypt,
Why Egypt?
the pyramids,
Just the pyramid.
pyramids, and my best footballer is from there.
Who is?
Mohamed Salah.
What's up?
Mohamed Salah.
Shout out to Mosala. Western Africa, West Africa.
Nigeria.
Why Nigeria?
I'm Nigerian. People, food, culture, tribe, everything is
What about Central Africa?
DRC Congo.
Why DRC Congo?
I don't know that country, but I can say there are people because basically all countries have nice people. Yeah, so that people should be nice.
Okay. Which country will be the capital for Southern Africa?
Anyone looking at the development level of each of these countries in Southern Africa, would want to point to South Africa itself. Looking at maybe Pretoria, maybe Cape Town,
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg, Cape Town, and other great cities within South Africa. But most people, if you take a good survey, would be pointing to South Africa, and I'm doing the same. I would prefer South Africa to be the capital for the Southern African regions.
Why, sir?
Again, you want to talk about development, you want to talk about exposure, you want to talk about location also. It's easier, it's the closest to the ocean. I think it's closer to, I think that's the Atlantic. It is the Atlantic.
It should be the Atlantic.
It is Atlantic, not Pacific. So it's closest to the Atlantic as well. So it will really be a quick one, to metamorphose into a capital country, as you said. If you choose it today, by a month's time, it has settled down. You don't have too much to do.
Okay.
I would choose a one that would not cost us too much to set up, and the one that would not take us too much time to set up.
Okay, now what about for Eastern Africa?
I would choose Rwanda. Looks good to me
Rwanda.
Yeah.
Why Rwanda?
because of the wisdom of and the exposure of the people of Rwanda right now. Due to what they have gone through in the past, I think they would also easily, sit in, as the capital because they won't have too much to do. Rwanda has come of age. They have developed quite significantly within these days. And then, their leader has also debriefed them in terms of neocolonialism and imperialism. And these are the two things that have plagued our continent for ages.
West African country. Tough one.
I
Tough one.
want to be a bit biased. My mind keeps going to Nigeria, but I would like to move to somewhere, a bit more central. But when you do that too, I'll be moving into francophone
Country.
and all that. I'm inclined to choose Nigeria.
Nigeria. Why Nigeria?
Number one, Nigeria is very cosmopolitan. Nigeria is easy to integrate all other countries that are coming in, or being in their capital, Nigeria can easily integrate them because we are very, very cosmopolitan, and we are people who are welcoming, and they will feel really comfortable having Nigeria as the capital of West Africa. They can come in and go out as they want and all that, and they'll feel, Nigerians are happy people, and they can always accommodate foreigners and things.
What about Northern Africa?
Not a fan of Northern Africans, but I'll choose Libya.
Libya. Why Libya?
Well, Libya, even though they say all sorts of things about Libya, before the demise of Muammar Gaddafi, Libya, to me, was one of the most well-developed countries in Northern Africa. One. Number two, they are the best country in terms of, looking after their people. Libya was really, really good at looking after its people. Then Libya was the only country I saw before the demise of Gaddafi that took the commonwealth of the people and shared it
Equally.
amongst them.
The Central Africa.
In order that all eyes will be on Congo, I would definitely choose Congo.
DRC
What's
Congo.
going on there?
DRC Congo.
Yes, so that all eyes will be on Congo because it's the central point now. It's a rallying point now, so that it will be exposed to everybody what's actually going on there, so we can move in to help.
If each African region had its own capital country, which country will be the capital of Southern Africa?
That should be South Africa itself.
Why South Africa?
Because South Africa is a global country, and it's compared to every other country in Africa. Yeah, it's global in terms of development. You can equally compare in South Africa with America. I think yes,
To
America.
an extent.
Yes, to an extent, it looks like not even being an African country. Look at development and the way they obey laws and order in that
So
country.
South Africa looks different because of development.
Obviously, definitely.
Okay, what about East African countries? Which country will be the capital?
I still pick Kenya.
Why Kenya?
Like I told you, Kenya has a lot of, it's so much developed.
Northern Africa.
Like okay, make Morocco.
Morocco. Why Morocco?
Morocco is a vast developed country in Africa. If you go to Morocco,
Have you been to Morocco?
I haven't.
From what you've heard and seen,
I have friends all over that have been to Morocco.
country will be the capital of Western Africa.
It's Nigeria now.
Why Nigeria? Why Nigeria?
Of course, it's Nigeria.
Why Nigeria?
Nigeria. If you can't debate the popularity of Nigeria, the global strength of Nigeria, and the visual aspect that Nigeria has had, globally. It's Nigeria.
So what about Central Africa?
Equatorial Guinea. In fact, I know so much about Equatorial Guinea,
Wow.
even being more developed than Cameroon,
Wow. So why you pick Equatorial Guinea?
because I've seen a lot about Equatorial Guinea. Talk about the tourism, their rule of law.
What if African regions had their capital country? Which will be the capital for Eastern Africa?
Kenya.
Why Kenya?
I just love the way the people and the countries at large. They are beautiful people. They have nice things, and their tribe, everything about them is just nice.
Okay, what about Southern Africa?
I'll pick Namibia.
Namibia.
Yes,
Why Namibia?
I just their country is outstanding. Their culture,
Wow.
deserts, wildlife,
Wow.
the people itself, they are awesome.
West Africa.
My own country itself, Nigeria. We may have so many problems though,
Yeah.
but we are beautiful people. I know one day this country is going to be better. That's what I know. And it's during my time.
During your time.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Northern Africa?
Egypt itself,
Why Egypt?
that's where the Israelites got left. That's where the freedom started, and I love pyramids a lot. They have awesome pyramids. The way they dress and the artifacts, the mummies, tourism itself.
Tourism itself.
That's where it should be held.
Central Africa.
Congo, I don't really know much about Congo.
This is South Africa.
Eastern Africa.
I think Kenya.
West Africa.
I love Nigeria,
Okay.
so I choose Nigeria.
What about Northern Africa?
Egypt,
Central Africa.
Cameroon.
For Southern Africa, which country will be the capital?
Southern Africa, I will obviously go for South Africa.
Why South Africa?
South Africa, South Africa, to be very honest, is a very beautiful place. Because of the beauty of the place, I will obviously go for South Africa.
Beauty and infrastructure.
Yes.
Northern Africa.
I'll go for Egypt because obviously all the other countries, they don't make it to the headline. Most times it's always Egypt. So I'll go for Egypt.
Eastern Africa.
Just picking randomly, I'll go for Kenya.
West Africa.
Obviously Nigeria.
Why Nigeria?
Of course, Nigeria is my country, but I'll just go for Nigeria. Although Nigeria economically is a very poor country, but I'll still go for Nigeria.
Central Africa.
Equatorial Guinea is something I've heard constantly, and when you are hearing about them, you obviously know that it's probably a good country. You see, you hear about South Africa, you hear about Egypt, you hear about Nigeria. So things you hear about.
So guys, once you know your thoughts in the comment section, make sure you like, comment, subscribe and share, and see you on the next one.